Oh, hello you men. I wanted to explain about the NHS and this funding business. Can you see this? I've just put this with a pen. Lord Toritori explains the NHS so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you got that? Can I put it down now? Have you seen it? I think you probably have. All right. So, one thing first though, this is really just for Eton men, I was thinking. Harrow and Winchester you can watch as well if you wish. That is absolutely fine, you are welcome. But village people, Oppidans, townspeople, this is not for you. So off you go. Simpkins, I've got Simpkins here because he's holding my cocoa. Simpkins, how do I know if they've gone? Because I can't see that. Oh, I'll tell you what. If you're not an Eton man or Harrow or Winchester, go and watch one of my other videograms. So I've done one about the Irish Sea border. You can see that. That's okay. Or Brexit is going fine. That's useful. Don't watch the one about procurements. That I don't know how that got onto your tubes. Roderick had left his phone on, and it was supposed to have been redacted. So don't watch that one, but watch one of the other ones. So off you go. Righto. So this is just the public school men then. I thought you ought to know about the arrangements for the NHS and the reason for the 1%, because there's been a lot of discussion about that. Now, I know some of you thought it was to keep the cost base down, ready for selling off, and true enough, that is a little side benefit. But here's the whole point, right? I discerned this. Well, Simpkins explained it to me actually, but I understood what he was saying. So the thing is, you take something which is what is most valued by the country, right? It used to be the flag or the Queen or whatever, but now it's the NHS. So you take that and you abuse it. So you take a situation where you should be enormously grateful to it, you would imagine, that for Boris Johnson, for example, and then treat it with clear disrespect. And see if you can rub salt in the wound by talking about redecorating your flat for a couple of hundred G's at the same time, right? And that shows your contempt. Now, you might think that's not very good politics, but actually it is, because what you're trying to do is to see, okay, so what is the tolerance to what some people might think of as bad behaviour by the upper classes? But it's actually just a question of showing who's boss. So you do this absolute worst thing, you see, and see what the public reaction is. Now, it does no harm at all to have a little bit of royal shenanigans going on at the same time to distract, right, the Harry and Meghan and all that sort of claptrap. So here you are, you see, I actually brought along the Sunday papers. So we do see this one to see what's being said. So the Observer is getting all het up about the pay rise. But look at this. The real paper, the Sunday Times, what's it saying? The Queen isn't going to watch the telly. Well, who bloody cares whether she watches the telly or not? But the point is, you've got that on the front page. So it's pushing the nurses' pay rise, NHS pay rise, derisory pay rise, off the page, off the news. Now, the nurses got annoyed, I understand that, and they're talking about strike action. Don't worry about that. That will just antagonise the public, and they'd probably never do it anyway. So that will just play into our hands. So I'm not worried about strike at all. So let's see what the public reaction is. I think we'll get away with this one. And I'll give you another example. So take this test and trace. Now, they had to give Penrose's wife a job, though she's pretty bloody incompetent. Except for one thing, she's actually quite good at fending off the questions in Parliament. So, and because look at this, you can see that, because she had £22 billion on test and trace. Right, other countries did it for a few million or whatever. £22 billion. You could build a railway under the London for that. But anyway, she'd got all that money, and she was questioned in Parliament, and she battered off the questions and said, oh, they were building the system, and that was just for this year, and then it would all be gone. And so the 22 billion went through, and there's a little bit of agitation about it, but basically she got her 22 billion. Heaven only knows how she spends it. Woman must have fingers like Lord knows for that amount of money to slip through. Of course she doesn't know what she's doing. It was a little bit awkward to start with, because they had the previous chap, Duncan Selby, I think his name was showing her up a bit, but of course he would, because he's worked in public health all his life. She hasn't got a bloody clue what she's doing, so it was bound to show her up. But luckily they sacked him over the weekend. They should really have told him before that they were going to do it. But anyway, he's out of the way, and she's in charge of public health now. But where was I? £22 billion. Little bit of fuss about it. There you go. But now that's all accepted. And you know what young Risky Sunak squeezed through in this budget? Another 15 billion. And nobody hardly noticed. You see, it's desensitisation. So it's the same principle. Do something absolutely bloody ridiculous, and if the townspeople and the villagers and the whoever from up and down the country, if they don't really object, you can get away with bloody murder afterwards. So it gives you a free hand, you see. You're able to take the decisions that you need on behalf of the country. You do bloody stupid things like Brexit, see, and they won't complain. So I hope that's helpful for you. Simpkins, what do you think? Do you think that explained it properly? I think that's most of the points. So you see, that's why that's why you can see that the Tory government actually know what they're doing. Simpkins, how's my cocoa? Yes, bring it over here. I'd like to have a bit more. No, I've finished the filming. That's all done. Yes. Yeah, no, I can put the camera down. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Oh, I think you're right. Hold on. Yes, the button's still on. The red circle. Okay.